Hello and welcome everybody. So today we are beginning our first class that is on the electrical machines topic, and today is first of first of October 2021, and we will be dealing with first electrical machines. So some of you might be knowing that we have started this revision series. In this revision series we will be taking up basically 10 questions, and in those 10 questions you will be able to grasp few concepts of the electrical machines, and as we go forward you will able to learn more and more. Now what all programs do we run? We basically run an SSC JE program, in which we basically cover the concept based module. The technical non-technical both are covered. Then there is a test series, there is a practice paper, recordings of the class will be available, and there is notes. And all these course details, all these fees structures and all these have already been uploaded on YouTube, and the details of the link will be in the description box. You can check it there. Now coming to today's class, we will be taking care of the first of all DC machines part, and in the DC machines part we will be taking basically 10 questions. So myself Devashish sir for that. Now first of all we take up the first question today, that is right hand thumb rule. Okay, right hand thumb rule is applicable to for what? DC generator, DC motor, transformer, or all of the above. So basically what we know is right hand thumb rule is applicable for generator. Generator principle or generator rule is also said to be for the right hand thumb rule. For the motor we say it as left hand thumb rule. Left hand thumb rule. So for motor we say it as left hand thumb rule. Okay, and transformer basically works on your Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, electromagnetic induction, right? Now coming to the next part, next question, that is the speed of the DC series motor at no load is 0, 1500 rpm, 3000 rpm, or none of these. So first you just pause and try to give the answer of it. Now I will discuss. So basically in case of a DC series motor, if we see the basic structure of a DC series motor, something like this we will find. This is the basic structure of a DC series motor. Now what we find here is, see, this is our field winding, okay, having resistance, suppose say RAC, and here we have our armature in which we are having our resistance, and we have our generated voltage. If we consider it as a generator, but in the case of motor we call it as back EMF, and this is as armature resistance. Now the thing is, if we connect a DC series motor at no load, okay, if no load is connected to this, no load is connected to this, what will happen is it will draw or it will act as a short circuit. How? Because the series resistance will have very little resistance, and this resistance values of the armature resistance is also very small. Because of that, there will be high current will flow through this, and that high current will ultimately produce infinite speed, so none of the options are correct. So none of these will be the answer. The actual answer will be infinity. Okay, none of the answers will be correct. That will be infinity. Now coming to the next question. The next question is, if we apply a sinusoidal voltage of frequency 10 Hz is applied to the field of the DC generator, the armature voltage will have. So what will happen if we apply a 10 Hz sinusoidal voltage to a DC generator? So we can apply, but there are some problems are also there, but we can apply. But here we have seen that the armature voltage here written as DC voltage, 10 Hz square wave, 10 Hz sinusoidal voltage, or none of this. So just pause and give the answer. So the basic answer will be the 10 Hz sinusoidal voltage. Okay, so we all know that in a DC generator, the ultimately before commutator, okay, before commutator we are having the DC, that is the AC voltage is generated. Suppose this is the coil, this is one coil we are having. Suppose here we are having a north pole and here we are having a south pole. Now if I rotate this thing, what will happen is there will be a voltage generated here, and this voltage is basically AC voltage. But after that we basically connect it through a slip ring arrangement. Nowadays commutator we can say. So commutator arrangement or slip ring arrangement is done, and from that we are basically connecting a load here in this terminal. So this is the basic construction. So the voltage ultimately generated in the coil before this slip ring is basically a sinusoidal voltage. So the answer will be 10 Hertz sinusoidal voltage. Now coming to the next question. For two DC machines having equal output, the total current is moved in. So in which case, which of these cases the current will be the largest? Now here you can see that lap winding given, wave winding given, simplest lap winding given, and none of this is given. So we need to understand one thing, that is in lap winding number of parallel paths is equal to the number of poles, whereas if we consider for the wave winding the number of parallel paths is limited to only 2. Okay, so here you can understand one thing, that here only 2 parallel paths will be provided, and here depending upon the number of poles the number of parallel paths will be provided. So depending upon parallel circuiting, the amount of current will depend how much current it can handle. uh, this is basically indicating that here we can handle larger amount of the voltage. So from this we understanding we can conclude that the lap winding will have the higher amount of the current, total current. Now coming to the next question. In a DC generator, the main cause of the failure to build up voltage is why the voltage build up fails. What is the main reason? First of all, the field winding having less number of turns. Second is there is no residual magnetism. Third is high armature resistance, and none of this. The fundamental problem why a DC generator fails is because of residual, there is no residual magnetism. Basically, if we consider a DC shunt generator like this, DC shunt generator like this, what happens is what happens is there has to be some amount of residual magnetism present in this. Because of this residual magnetism, some amount of flux will interact with the armature coils, and this armature coil then will develop a small amount of voltage, say 1 volt or 2 volt. In return, this 1 volt or 2 volt generated in the armature circuit will ultimately rotate current through the field, and this field will ultimately accumulate one after the other, one after the other. As the current increases, the field again increases. As the current increases, field again increases. So residual magnetism is the fundamental point based on which the voltage buildup is taken place. Now coming to the next question. If we apply AC to a DC motor, what will happen? The thing is, when we apply AC to any DC instrument, the fundamental problem that arises is that there is an excessive amount of AD currents that is produced, and this AD current will ultimately burn the motor. Okay, so this is the main concept, because AD currents are what? Suppose this is a cross section of the material. Now in this cross section there is a rotating current that is produced. That is not the not this is neither the part of the coil. This is basically part of your structure, or structure means that is your stator, or the wherever we are using the magnetic materials. Okay, so in that case we generally find these eddy currents, and these eddy currents will ultimately produce huge amount of heat, causing it to destruction. Now coming to the next part. What will happen if the DC shunt motor is opened? Now if we open a DC shunt motor, what will happen? Basically, uh, the DC shunt motor, when we open its field, basically in that case, in that case what we can observe is that uh, we find one simple equation you will find later. Eb equals to k phi n, right? So if the flux becomes zero in this case, we can write n equals to eb by k phi, By this simple expression, we can find if the flux becomes 0, the n becomes equals to infinite. Okay, so the excessive speed will cause the destruction of the DC shunt motor in this case. In the case of opening of the DC field, so opening of the DC field means suppose this is our DC shunt motor. This is our DC shunt motor, and the field that is connected here has opened. There is a, because of some reason the field has opened, or some damage in the winding, the field has opened. In this case, the flux becomes 0 and the speed becomes infinite. That is the main reason. Now coming to the next question. For locomotor drives, we use basically DC series motor, DC shunt motor, induction motor, both AC. So out of all these questions, one of the mistakes that students make is that they, just by seeing the DC series motor, they will take the DC series motor and go. But the thing is, in locomotor drives, we use both DC series motor as well as induction motor. Nowadays, induction motors are also used. So the answer will be both A and C. The function of the DC, why this is required? Because we need higher starting torque, and this higher starting torque will ultimately make all the difference. Okay. Now coming to the next question. The efficiency of the DC shunt generator is maximum when? When do we have the efficiency to be maximum? In general sense, what we can observe here is that efficiency is nothing but the output by input ratio. Now this output by input ratio can be written as output by output plus loss. Now when we see the losses, we basically find two components, that is a constant loss and a and uh, that is copper loss. And out of the copper loss, this copper loss and constant loss, if these two becomes equal, then we can say that the efficiency becomes maximum. So the maximum efficiency is basically occurs in the when the constant losses become equal to the armature copper loss, because field has very little current, and because of that the field copper losses are also negligible, but the armatures are having huge amount of current and the copper losses are quite significant. Now coming to the last question for today, that is a 4-point starter is used in a DC series motor to decrease the field current, to increase the field current, both A and B, and none of this. The thing here is, the basic purpose of a starter we all know, that is to limit the current while entering at the starting. At the starting, the main purpose of this is to does not change the value of the current, or does not allow a huge amount of current to flow through at the beginning. That is the basically a starter. The 4-point starter has a specific point, that is there is a hold on coil is present. Now if there is a change in the field current, if there is a change in the field current, the current through the hold on coil, the current through the hold on coil will remain unchanged. The current through the hold on coil will remain unchanged. So it means that if there is a change in the field current, it will not affect the current through the hold on coil. Okay, so by this understanding we can observe one thing, is that none of the options are correct, because the basic purpose of 4-point starter is not to allow the changes in the field current. Okay, its purpose is to maintain whatever the changes is there in the field current. Irrespective of that, the current through the hold on coil should be, that is the armature current should be constant. Okay, should not change. So that's it for today. Do check out our next day questions, and just revise all of that whatever I have said today. All the best for today's class. Thank you.